What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, August 22nd, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:23 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe. So Belarus is looking into arming their short-range ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads, and Belarus will also ramp up production of these short-range missiles, according to a senior Belarusian official. Okay, so these are the Polonez missiles. These are short-range ballistic missiles. Belarus will be increasing production of them and arming them with nuclear warheads. Belarus is right next to Poland and also next to the Baltic countries and next to Ukraine. And if you remember, earlier this week, a Russian drone crashed in Poland and blew up and blew out all the windows of an entire town. And this Russian drone came from Belarus, flew 65 miles into Poland, a NATO country, okay, and exploded. And it actually exploded just 8 miles from a Polish Air Force training base where they school pilots, potentially Ukrainian pilots as well, and then just 30 miles away from the headquarters of the Polish defense contractor PGZ. So this is extremely concerning. Belarus is stepping up, and this is coming right on the eve of the massive Zapad 2025 exercise, which is a massive Russian and Belarusian exercise that may include Chinese and North Korean troops right on the border of the Baltic countries and Poland, and potentially this could be staging for an invasion in the near future. And we have some interesting flights today. So what you're looking at here is the flight path of a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane. And what's unusual about this flight is that it took off from the old Thule Air Force Base, or now it's called PATRIOT, up in Greenland, and it went down towards Labrador in Canada, and it was doing some loops over here near the southern tip of Greenland. And when they do loops like this, it means that they're communicating with nuclear-armed submarines in the area, sending out codes, usually targeting information. I've personally, in the last 5 years or so of tracking these flights almost on a daily basis, have never seen an E-6B Mercury take off from PATRIOT and go down to this area between Labrador and Greenland in the Labrador Sea and do VLF work, very low frequency communication with our nuclear armed subs. This is extremely unusual, and it could indicate that U.S. Ohio-class subs, which are the nuclear-armed submarines we have, they form the bulk of our nuclear deterrent, are now operating near Greenland and Iceland, closer to Europe. So this is very, very serious. It means that the U.S. has basically positioned some subs closer to Russia, okay, for a quicker strike on Russia if necessary. And also we have a nuclear war command and control plane circling over the Midwest right now. And we also have a B-52 nuclear bomber that just got aerially refueled over Missouri. And U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered airmen and soldiers with the National Guard who are deployed to the streets of Washington, D.C. to be armed beginning Friday, with roughly 2,000 troops now deployed to the city from several Republican-led states. No details or reason for this change were given by the Pentagon. Wow, so they're going to be now fully arming these National Guardsmen who up until now did not carry rifles, okay? Now they're going to start carrying rifles. So this is indication that something could be going down soon in the capital region. And Trump today at his press conference said that they may potentially have to extend the deployment by declaring like a state of emergency, which would allow Trump to continue to deploy these troops into D.C. and keep them there on a near permanent basis. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this video, which is Just In Case Holsters. Guys, if you own a firearm, a knife, or you just want to have a cool leather wallet, check out Just In Case Holsters. I have been working with them just in the last few weeks, and I personally have spoken to the owner several times. He is a solid guy. He's a Navy veteran, and he makes all these holsters by hand, and these holsters are just absolutely beautiful. He sells chest holsters, he sells hip holsters, he sells holsters for knives, and they're all handmade in the USA by him. So very high quality stuff, and he has provided me with a 10% discount code, which is just NYPrepper in all caps lock. I'm going to put a link in the description below to his website with the promo code, but it's justincaseholsters.com, and the promo code is NYPrepper, all caps lock. So check him out, support a veteran, and also you're going to help support this channel as well by supporting my partners. And the Trump administration will know within 2 weeks whether there will be peace in Ukraine or not. U.S. President Donald Trump said yesterday in an interview on the Todd Starnes show, "We will know within 2 weeks whether there will be peace in Ukraine. After that, we will have to maybe take a different track," Trump told conservative commentator Todd Starnes. Now, he also said that today at the press conference in the Oval Office. He said that roughly about 2 weeks we're going to know if there's going to be peace or not. I don't know why specifically 2 weeks. I don't know if that's related to the Zapad exercise, whether Trump is expecting Putin to invade the Baltics. I don't know, but for some reason there's this 2-week time frame that Trump is giving Putin. Okay, so we'll have to be on high alert. And a reporter asked Trump earlier in the Oval Office if he talked to Putin about the U.S. factory in Ukraine that was attacked by Russia yesterday. Trump said apparently he told Putin that he was not happy about it. And Trump said today also, "I will make a very important decision in 2 weeks if the Ukraine war is not settled. We will see whether or not we impose massive sanctions or tariffs, or we do nothing." Wow. Okay, so it seems like a 2-week time frame for some reason. And Putin made some comments this afternoon about everything going on. He said with Trump's arrival to the White House, a light appeared at the end of the tunnel in Russia-U.S. relations. He also said Russia expects a full-scale restoration of relations with the U.S. He also said that Russia has no unfriendly countries. There are unfriendly elites in states. And he also said Russia is doing everything to stop the war that started in 2014 against the population of the Donbass. And then he said that there is propaganda in the West. They say that Russia started the war. So Putin still sticking to his guns. Of course, he's not going to change his opinions, but basically still sticking to his guns. And we have an update on the Epstein files situation. Ghislaine Maxwell, the accomplice of Epstein, told the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche that she had no incriminating information on high-profile figures tied to Jeffrey Epstein, denying the existence of a client list or blackmail scheme. She insisted she never saw Trump, Clinton, or other well-known associates engage in wrongdoing. Wow. So you know what's happening here, guys? Basically, they're going to give her an abbreviated prison sentence in return for her saying that she's not aware of any client list, that Trump's not on any list, Clinton, none of these very powerful people. So they're basically forcing her to say that, you know, all these elites were not involved in any wrongdoing. I mean, it just screams of you know, clearly just, you know, trying to you know, cover up the situation, okay? And Lithuania plans a 30-mile deep defense line along Baltic borders with minefields, booby-trapped bridges, and anti-tank dragon's teeth to stop Russia from invading. When complete, having been in the works since early last year, the Baltic Defense Line is estimated to be more than 940 miles long and will limit Russia's ability to launch attacks from its own territory, Kaliningrad, and Belarus. Lithuania, in particular, began setting up dozens of so-called engineering parks filled with counter-mobility equipment. These initially included razor wire, concrete roadblocks, Czech hedgehogs, as well as dragon's teeth. But Lithuania has now said that it is looking to further layer its defenses, stretching them wide enough to protect Vilnius, the capital. Lithuania's border with Kaliningrad and Belarus is over 590 miles long. The new ribbon will be made of 3 layers. The first, estimated to be 3 miles wide, will begin with an anti-tank ditch next to the border fence. This will then be followed by an embankment, strips of dragon's teeth and minefields, and then 2 layers of strong points for defending infantry. So this is huge news, guys, okay? Lithuania fortifying their capital. This is the first time we've heard of them stretching out their defense lines to fortify the capital. Okay, so there must be some kind of threat, and we've been talking about this for a while. KLW World News, aka inventor Lee Wilbarger, has been talking about this for a while. All right, Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, is literally 20 miles from the border of Belarus, and Russia has been massing forces there. They could quickly get to the capital in probably under an hour and surround it. So now Lithuania is fortifying their capital. Very, very serious. And CBS News confirms that the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, ordered all U.S. intelligence on the Russia-Ukraine peace talks to be marked no foreign, barring sharing with Five Eyes partners, which are the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Only public information is exempt. So the U.S. is no longer sharing any classified information on the Russia-Ukraine peace talks with the Five Eyes partners. Those are the other big intelligence agencies that we share intelligence with. So that's very, very concerning. And the FBI raided the Maryland home of John Bolton, President Trump's former national security advisor, this afternoon. The search is related to allegations that Bolton is in possession of classified records. And last night, the Druzhba pipeline was attacked again for the 3rd time in a short period, cutting off oil deliveries to Hungary, according to Hungary's foreign minister, Peter Szijjártó. So this is the big pipeline that goes from Russia to Europe, okay? Ukraine has struck it 3 times in the past few days. And Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, said that Ukraine has successfully tested the Flamingo missile and is launching its mass production. At a meeting with journalists on August 20th, the president of Ukraine called the Flamingo the most successful Ukrainian development. By the end of the year or in early 2026, the missile will go into serial production. So the Flamingo missile is basically like twice as large as our Tomahawk missile. It's a cruise missile, but it has a range of 3,000 kilometers and a 2,500-pound warhead. So double the range of a Tomahawk and double the warhead size of a Tomahawk. Okay, that is impressive for a country at war to develop something like that. And now Ukraine is going to be able to hit all these bomber bases that Russia has been using to attack them and drone production facilities. This could potentially cause a big escalation. We'll have to wait and see. And Zelensky said that the number of F-16s that Ukraine currently has would not be enough to guarantee security. He also said Turkey has said that it wants to be a part of Ukraine's security guarantees with responsibility for maritime security. And Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov said Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky when the agenda would be ready for a summit. This agenda is not ready at all. There are several principles which Washington believes must be accepted, including no NATO membership, including the discussion of territorial issues, and Zelensky said no to everything. He even said no to canceling legislation prohibiting the Russian language. How can we meet with a person who is pretending to be a leader? Wow. So Lavrov continuing with his stance that Zelensky is responsible for everything. And so far, he said yesterday that there's no chance, zero chance of any meeting happening anytime soon with Zelensky and Putin. And Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has ordered the mobilization of 4.5 million troops after the U.S. raised its bounty on him to $50 million and deployed warships and troops to the Caribbean. Wow. Remember a couple days ago, the U.S. deployed 3 guided missile destroyers of the Arleigh Burke class to the southern Caribbean, as well as P-8 Poseidons and the Marine Expeditionary Unit with 4,000 Marines. It looks like they're getting ready to strike Venezuela and maybe take out Maduro, maybe take out a bunch of his missile facilities, because there are Russian missiles in Venezuela, and the U.S. doesn't want to have another Cuban Missile Crisis type situation. And there was a 8.0 magnitude earthquake last night between South America and Antarctica in the Drake Passage. It was really shallow too, only 10 kilometers in depth. So very, very interesting. And the Drake Passage is considered to be the most dangerous sea in the entire world. They have really crazy waves there and just really bad weather. So very interesting. And I wanted to show you some other flights here. So here we have 2 sub hunters in Northern Europe. You can see one patrolling around Iceland, and then another one was heading up to the Norwegian Sea. Very interesting. And look at all these sub hunters off the coast of Orlando and North Carolina today. Very interesting. Something is definitely brewing over here. There could potentially be Russian subs off the coast of Florida. One of these was flying really low, which means that it was trying to get a bead on a sub. And here we have video footage of the Ukrainians striking the Druzhba pipeline, which supplies the oil to Europe. Look at that huge fireball there. Absolutely insane. They hit some kind of refinery here or something, pumping station, I believe it was. You can see the flames there. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on tonight with more breaking news. Follow me on Patreon. $5 a month gets you ad-free access to all of my updates, and I always post these updates first to Patreon before I post them to YouTube. Also, I post abbreviated text news updates on Patreon, so if you don't have time to watch the full videos, you can at least get the main headlines. So patreon.com/NYPrepper. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.